Hello and welcome back to another episode of Math with Son. Today we are going to be talking about retirement, which is a little bit different for this channel. How much money could you earn if you invested $25,000 when you were 20? Let's say you got $25,000, you won like a scratch-off ticket or something, and you got lucky. And how much money if you just put it into the stock market or something relatively safe in the stock market, not putting it all into one company, but you invest all in safer stocks. And if you do that, on average, not every year, but on average, you will earn about 7% interest, which is pretty good, okay? You would need to do this if you wanted to actually earn some money, some real money. If you did the math for that $25,000, 1.07 to that would be 40 years later. If you do that, any ideas for how much money would be in your bank account at that point if you just let it sit there all the live long day? And the answer to that is way more than you'd think. You would have $374,361.45. That's a lot of money, okay? And the question that you'd have to ask yourself is, could you retire on that? And I would argue no. You could not retire on that. You would need to do a little bit more investing, but that is a huge chunk of change. Big chunk of change, okay? And if you waited a little bit longer, this would go up even more. So for instance, right now, when you get that $374,000, that's a huge amount of money. It's a lot of money. But that is going to increase dramatically if you were to wait 5 more years and then maybe even 10 more years. So if you would wait until from your 60 to 65 or even 70 years old, if you just waited and watched this grow. So what would happen if you waited a little bit longer to take that money out? If you waited till you were not 45, but if you waited till you were 65, the only thing that would change would be 25,000, 1.07 raised to the 45th power. You would have a lot more money, 525,000 and 0.61 and 29 cents. So if you could wait a little bit longer, look at how much has happened in 5 years. You've done nothing, but your money has gone up from 375,000 to 525,000. That is compounded money, and that's like its raw form. And you see how quickly that went up. That went up in 5 years by almost $200,000, and you did nothing. So if we wait another 5 years, we should expect this number to be even closer, like 700,000. And it is. If you did 25,000, 1.07, if you could wait just a little bit longer, you would have $736,425.63. Holy moly. The goal is to get this amount that's increasing every year to be something that you can live off of, okay? And you do that, and then you truly retire. So for me, if I were to retire, I would not be able to put in 25,000. I'm a little too old for that now, but I can invest a little bit each year. If I invest 2,000 each year, eventually it will do something like this, okay? Because that 2,000 turns to 4,000, turns to 6,000. Each and every year, it goes up a little bit more and a little bit more. And then you get to the point where your money is increasing so rapidly that you are just rolling in the dough, okay? What true retirement is, if you want to retire, you need this number that is in your bank account to be so much that it is what you live off of. For instance, let's say that you stopped here, okay? Let's say you stopped at the 76,000, that big number, and at that point, you should probably take a little bit out of the stock market and not earn 7%. You should probably earn, maybe aim for 5% interest of that. If we multiply that by 0.05, you would get $26,258. That could be your yearly income. And if you did that, you would still have $736,000 in the account, and you would take 5% of that every year. You would earn 5% interest. That 5% is the interest that you would earn because you would need to move it to a safer thing than the stock market at that point, I would hope. And you would earn in your yearly income $26,000. That is the money you get to live off of. And if you can live off of $26,000, you will earn that for the rest of your life. You will get $26,000 every single year, and this $736,000 would not move a bit. What me and my goal is to get to around, I would need to maybe have $70,000. You have to set the amount that you want to live per year. Okay? That's what you really need to do, is set how much you think you are going to need by the time you retire per year to live comfortably. Okay? And for me, that's about $70,000 per year, because I got other things and I feel like I'm only going to need $70,000 per year. All right? So let's say I had to have $70,000 per year. How much would I have to have saved up? Okay? So for me, in order to do that, I have to take my amount that I would need, that big lump of sum, I would need to multiply it by 5%, and it needs to equal $70,000. If I do that, if I would divide by the 0.05, if I divide by 0.05, I get $1,400,000. That is how much I have to have in my bank by the time I retire to retire, if I want to take out $70,000 every single year. Now, that might seem like a very daunting task, but remember that once you get to $736,000, which we did by just winning the lotto, a small scratch-off ticket in our 20s, we did that and didn't even invest another penny. We took that, we put that $25,000 in, and we just let it go. Well, in most people's situations, you're going to invest a little bit each year. And if you invest that little bit each year, you could get to that $1.4 million and then take out $70,000 every year until the live long days. Okay? That's the goal, is to get to a point where you have enough money in the bank that it earns you an interest every year what you need to live. And you never take a single dollar away from that amount. Here, if I got to 736, I would live off of 26,000, and that would be all I would live off of. If I can't live off of that, then I would have to take away from that 736,000. And then if I do that, then I don't get 26 in yearly income anymore. It would get worse and worse every single year. Okay? You do not want to spend the money you've saved. You only want to spend your interest you earned on your money. That, ladies and gentlemen, is truly retiring. Because when you do that, you don't have to work. You could retire at the age of 50. You could retire at the age of 40 if you get to that point. And that is the lesson for today. Invest a little bit now. Get that huge compounded interest. We turned $25,000 into almost $1 million by just letting it sit. If that were $50,000, we would have hit that $1.4 million, and you would have been able to earn for the rest of your days $70,000 not touched a bit and never worked again. I will see y'all in the next one. Until later, have a great time and stay positive. Bye.